Hey, Shalom. Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi'S, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi'S, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi'S. Okay, Yahawashi'S, Wa Raha, Rakah Kadash, Barakatham. All praise unto Yahawashi'S, double honors to the Apostle GreatMillStone. Honors you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. So I wanted to do this quick video right here. And this is a topic pretty much within the society that affects, I believe affects, if not each and every one of the individuals that walk upon this place that we call Earth. And it's the thing of glorying to or one's own esteem, and rather than glorying to the end that the Most High gets the glory, okay, of which I'm probably going to entitle this video Yahawashi'S crown or your crown, okay. And we all suffer from the same thing. You know, this is not an attack on anybody, if not something I've noticed about my own day-to-day walk of life, is that some things that you do in this thing, man, is just not necessary. Okay, you're doing too much. You gotta relax, man. Okay, that is to say, all the extracurricular activity that you have within your own day-to-day life, most of it is not necessary. Okay, the objective of this, the end game here, is the glory of Yahawashi'S. When the Lord comes back, the scripture says, and I'm going to quote a lot more scriptures that I'm going to call out in the interest of not only time, but keeping to the point. Okay, like the scripture says, when the Lord returns, he's going to have many crowns upon his head. And he's going to issue forth those crowns unto them that were set up from the foundations of the earth, that it was going to be deemed worthy to receive these crowns. Now, if you're out here, okay, looking for your own glory, that's trying to establish your own corruptible crown, okay, which is a good scripture that you know I might get to a little bit later on, okay, through that vanity of you know, looking to be something within this world, okay, you're looking to establish your own crown, a corruptible crown, that is, whether it may be women, whether it may be money. Now, they ain't, you know, the scripture says there's nothing wrong with all of these things, but remember, it also says that everything's lawful, but not everything is expedient. Okay, so having, you know, multiple wives out here, having a wife is there's nothing wrong against that, but having multiple wives, that's not expedient towards the gaining of this truth. The same thing goes for money. Okay, there's nothing you're not evil if you have money. You ain't wicked. But chasing after money, like the scripture says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay, so that's just to show you that, and going back onto the point, that you're gonna be focused on the crown that Yahawashi'S is gonna give you, and that's a very easy thing to do, but it's easier said than done, because they would, in this thing, in this truth, the scripture says that you was gonna have diverse temptations. Okay, that is to say, there was gonna be things that is gonna be thrown within your life to get you distracted from the objective, and the objective is to get this word out. Okay, that's the objective. That's the end all, be all of all things, is to get this word out. Okay, so that the elect may be saved. And that's why when you go to the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, it says, looking for and hasten unto the coming day of Yahawashi'S. Okay, what manner of speech you ought to be, roughly paraphrasing, that you be of a holy conversation. And what's holy conversation? Okay, that the Lord's going to come back, and all the problems that you so-called have is going to be not only rectified, but it was going to be magnified in that you was going to receive everything that you have lost on this side, which is a beautiful thing, man. That's balance. And not only is it balance, it's a blessing, because you're going to get even more. Okay, so let's read this first scripture right here. It says, let nothing be done through strife or vain glorying, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem each other better than themselves. Okay, so when you're looking to esteem yourself and set up a name for yourself, well, the scripture doesn't speak towards that. Okay, if the Lord's does not the scripture say before honor is humility? And what's the greatest humility that you can have than to teach your fellow brother, man? Okay, to give up everything that you have within your life, okay, your dreams and aspirations, in order to push this word, man. Okay, that's the greatest form of humility that it is, to sacrifice basically to sacrifice yourself, like the scripture says, and present yourself as a living sacrifice unto Yahawashi'S, to the end that this word may be taught throughout the four corners of the earth. Now we don't have to do the heavy lifting and travel and, you know, go on boats and, you know, not necessarily leave our families and so on and so forth. Because why? Because the internet does the heavy lifting. But you think about when the law was on the scene, that was a requirement, man. You had to travel to different cities, man. You leave your, you know, your family and all of that. That's why the Lord said what he said, man. If you ain't gonna leave your family, okay, you ain't worthy of me, because this job was in them situations, it was needful for them to move from city to city, okay, from place to place, that they teach this word. So really, when you think about it, the Lord kind of has it easier for us, because you kind of maintain some kind of, you know, quote unquote life, and I do mean quote unquote. Okay, that's not to be taken out of context, because you have the other side of the spectrum where that quote unquote life that the Lord allows you to have within this side, well, it gets taken out of perspective, and people think that's the important thing. That's including myself. You think that's the most important thing. All right, setting yourself up and establishing yourself, rather than establishing, okay, what the Most High has set up for you to do, which is this word. And if you check out the skills and the talents that the Most High has given you, pretty much you find out that you got some specific skills to do a specific job. Okay, some brothers are great orators, and they just need to be out there teaching. Okay, speaking to different people and pushing this word. Might be at the job, might be on videos. Okay, might be out there in the camp. Certain brothers have got a particular spirit upon them. Okay, to where they get into their history. And you'll find out that the Most High will give you not only the resources, but the time to do that. So you might be only working maybe 20 odd hours a week, but your situation is good. Okay, and you trying to expound upon that situation so you can buy this, that, and the third. But really, you were set up just to what? To get into the history. You know, it's just an example. I'm not saying I've actually seen this, but that's just an example of the situation that you're in. More times, it's more catered to what your job is supposed to be within this truth, man. Okay, and you gotta just accept that. So that you know, there ain't no vainglorying, man. And you know, going back onto the title of this video, so that you get your Yahawashi'S crown when he comes back. Okay, one of the crowns, one of the many crowns that he's gonna come back with, and not this crown that's you're gonna get within this society for being something and being someone, because that's gonna burn when his kingdom is destroyed. Okay, so let's get one more. I think I'm gonna get one more scripture, which is this scripture I've been quoting. Maybe even the both of them. If I put crown in, is that too many? Is that going to give me too many feeds? Okay, so so let's go to not just quite that one. Let's go to this page here. Okay, let's put corruptible. Okay, just bear with me, and then once I get this scripture. Okay, so this is so I spelled that incorrectly, apologies. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, and the 25th verse, and it says, and every man that striveth for the masteries is temperate in all things. Let's check out the word temperate. Okay, this is to have self-control on continent. Okay, so you gotta have the self-awareness of when you're doing too much. And like I said, I mean, I go through certain things in my own day-to-day life. Okay, where I'm like, man, shit, should I really have done that? Was that really necessary? You know what I mean? Because all you're looking to gain something within this world, but this world's gonna be burnt up, man. Okay, so you gotta have some kind of self-control. Hey, that's where casting lots comes into play, because not everything that the Spirit will guide you, man. You know, you cast a lot upon a certain decision. You know, it might not work out. You might not come out how you want it for the immediate time. But really, when the time is eclipsed, you're gonna realize, man, shit, the Lord really delivered you out of a particular situation. Okay, so you're gonna be self-controlled. Okay, to exhibit self-government. Okay, a government is what? To govern your mental. To have a ruling class mentality is to have a certain amount of discipline, man. Okay, and that's the thing that you really have to go out there and teach yourself discipline. But see, the beautiful thing about discipline is it's easy to find, and it's easily translatable into this truth. For instance, exercise regimen or dietary regimen. Okay, that's going to be very beneficial for you in this truth, man. Okay, but that's exhibiting self-control, because you're making yourself do something you don't want to do. Everybody wants to eat junk because it feels good. Okay, but it takes a certain amount of self-governance, okay, to push yourself into a position where you are actually saying, look, actually, I'm not going to eat that. Let me eat this instead. And the same thing with exercise. But see, that's transferable onto this truth. And this truth is even more difficult, because you're like the scripture says, everything is lawful, but it's not expedient. Okay, so it is lawful for you to go out there and, you know, eat a whole bunch of, you know, garbage. Okay, you can go out there and eat fried chicken every day, but it's not expedient to this truth, man. That's going to leave you very lethargic. Okay, the same thing applies for your that corruptible crown. Yeah, you can go out here and you know, the Most High probably give you a woman, and you go out here trying to establish 3 or 4 or 5 women. Okay, the Most High gives you a job. Okay, and you go out here and you're trying to establish 3 or 4 or 5 different ventures, okay, that are sucking up your time. Like I said, I'm not thinking of anyone in particular, just speaking in the spirit. Okay, but these things are all lawful, but it ain't expedient towards the target matter. And then you have the other side of the spectrum where, you know, you might not be in a position where you're working, but you ain't doing the work. Okay, that's the other side of the spectrum. You got, you know, you might have a particular situation where a brother is out of work for an extended amount of time. Okay, and there's a certain amount of comfort that comes with that. But remember, even if you're working or you're not working, you gotta push this truth at a higher degree, man. You know, brothers is coming in now, and them brothers are picking up quick. So the Most High could give that honor to another because you're in that comfort state. But really, that's not this lesson. That could be another lesson. But really, I would have to maybe give that idea to somebody else who is in a better position to explain all of that, because, you know, I'm not really the person to speak about, you know, that particular state of being. Okay, so you gotta have that temperacy, man. Okay, self-control. Okay. Let's go to it. It says, in a figure drawn from athletes in whom preparing themselves for games abstain from unwholesome foods, wine, and sexual indulgence. And where those athletes, man? Where those athletes? Now, okay, you can have these things, okay, but you gotta do it in moderation. And going back onto the topic of the lesson, you can go out here and, you know, establish a business if it's gonna be lucrative, okay. But you gotta really ask yourself if you got the self-control, okay, to be disciplined enough to run this business, okay, and push this work, okay. You can go out there and have 3 or 4 wives. It ain't unlawful to do that, but have you got the self-discipline to do that, and the resource and the time to do all of these things? And I can't answer these questions for you. Okay, this is like all of these examples I'm really stating out here. These are things, okay, that only you yourself can, and through the spirit of Yahawashi'S can be revealed unto you. And really, if I'll be honest, you know what you're supposed to be doing, man, which is this work. That's why everybody be looking, everybody be feeling, you know, kind of down when you might haven't done a video in a while, because you know that there's an objective, a task, a house that needs to be built. Okay, so let's go back onto the scripture right quick. It says here, and every man that striveth for the masteries is temperate in all things. Now they that do it obtain a corruptible crown. Okay, now this was really talking about athletes. So the first bit was talking about athletes. You know, they're temperate, they're balanced. Okay, if you see someone like a LeBron James or Kobe Bryant when he was still playing, or, you know, I only know basketball, so I can only quote you those athletes. When they was off, you know, in their off season, it wasn't just out there partying every day and every night, man. Okay, and that's in the off season. They was temperate, man. Now they go celebrate the chip if they won the chip, or relax with the family for a certain amount of time. But they weren't just overly self-indulgent, man. They wasn't just overly unself-governing, okay? But that was to obtain a corruptible crown. How much more so this incorruptible crown that's going to come in your house side, of which we're not talking about temperance in terms of indulgence. Now we're talking about temperance in terms of what's not necessarily unlawful, but is not necessarily expedient. And only you can define that for yourself, man. Okay, so let's just finish up here and obtain a corruptible crown, right? But we are in an incorruptible crown. Okay, so hey, brothers, man, and that goes, and like I said, this is really coming from my own life. I'm speaking about my own things out here. This is me talking about. This is me opening my mind, okay, and the situations that I'm going through for you, brothers. And you're supposed to be learning from these things. That, look, keep it, you know, keep it balanced, man. Okay, keep it temperate. Have some self-governing, have some self-control. Okay, because when you have that, you don't have that self-control, and you're going out there to obtain, to get what, a corruptible crown, man. Not only are you gonna lose in this truth, you're gonna lose in this world too, man. Okay, you're gonna lose. You're gonna be a 2-time loser, man. You're nothing worse than that. So with that, hopefully that was of edification. Say, Yahawashi'S Okay, double honesty, apostles of Great Millstone. Honestly, brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And I think I've said everything. So, shalom.